Hello, everyone, and welcome by Bags. I'll be your reviewer for today. I'm Lonnie from Horror Heaven 77. And before I start the review, I would just like to take a moment to say that today is now, you already know this, but today is Friday, December 25th, Christmas Day 2020. And I just want to take a minute to say a Merry Christmas to everyone, Happy Holidays, um, a Happy New Year to everyone. I hope that you are all I wish you nothing but the best wishes. I wish you nothing but, good health. And, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year's. And I just hope everybody's being safe, taking care of yourselves, taking care of your loved ones. And just, I really do. And I really do. I hope 2021 is going to be a whole damn sight better than what 2020 was. And hopefully, maybe we'll see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Fingers crossed. But anyway, just my sincere best wishes to each and every one of you, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday. Anyway, so now let's get to the movie review. Now, the movie that I chose when we did now it was announced that the theme was going to be horror movies that took place in the snow, and I just picked this one right away. I didn't think about it. I probably should have, but the movie that I chose was from 1966. You already know by the title. The movie is from 1966. It's directed, co-written, and co-starring Roman Polanski, and the movie I'm talking about is The Fearless Vampire Killers. Now, the reason why I said I should have thought of this is because, you know, Roman Polanski, here, this is going to be a deal. I'm really going to have to separate the art from the artist in this review because Roman Polanski, not a particularly great guy. I think, if you know anything about Roman Polanski, yeah, guy makes great movies. He is a very good filmmaker, good storyteller, but not the best person as a human being. I mean, especially if you heard about that little deal that he did with an underage girl, and then before he could be prosecuted, he fled to France so that he could avoid jail time, and now and pretty much to this day is pretty much been a fugitive from justice. So yeah, not the best guy in the world, but so that's what I was saying. Yeah, I'm really gonna have to kind of separate the art from the artist in this movie for this review. But now, as far as the movie goes, it is a good movie. It's horror film, but it does have quite a bit of comedy in it. So it's a balance of horror and comedy. I notice I kind of tend to do a lot of those on this channel, a lot of horror comedies. But what can I say? I like to laugh, and I like horror films. So, but anyway, so our story starts off. We're introduced to our two main characters. We have Professor Abronsius, played by Jack McGowran, who horror fans are going to remember him from The Exorcist. He was Burke Dennings. You know, there's an alien pubic hair in my drink. Never saw it before. So anyway, you got him, and then you got his assistant Alfred, who's played by Roman Polanski. Now, the two of them, it turns out that they're vampire hunters, but most of the people just mistake them for crazies and just Looney Tunes and just think that they're nuts and just kind of disregard them altogether. So they're riding through, there's snow everywhere. It's the middle of winter. The two of them are practically almost frozen to death, and they're riding in a sled. They're being taken to the small village, and in the village they take shelter in the home of this man named Chagall. And there's a lot of kind of funny, kind of sexy hijinks going on there because Chagall is married to his wife, and his wife is big heavy set lady, but they have a girl that works as a servant there, and she's like cleaning, cooking, mending clothes, all this other kind of stuff. And so Chagall is like constantly like trying to put the moves on her, even though she has absolutely no interest in him whatsoever. So Abronsius and Alfred, they get there, and then they like they're being taken care of, trying to keep them from freezing to death, getting them warm and all. And so but Abronsius, he notices that there's like garlic hanging and all this stuff. And so the movie does have very much kind of a Hammer feel to it. It's almost like it kind of does. It almost feels something like a spoof of the Hammer Dracula movies. That's kind of a good way to describe it. If you see a lot of the Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing Hammer Dracula movies, it very much does feel kind of like a spoof, like a takeoff of that. So Abrontius asks them if there's any castles in the area, and the villagers, they're like, no, 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 there's no, even though one of the villagers kind of let slip that yeah, there is a castle in the vicinity. And so Abrontius, he and Alfred, he's teaching Alfred about how to hunt vampires, and then we're introduced to Chagall's daughter, Sarah, played by the late great Sharon Tate. And it turns out that Sarah has a thing. She loves to take baths. She's not like OCD or anything like that. We come to find out in the movie that the reason why is her father sent her away to boarding school, and she started taking baths regularly, and it just became a habit. And just her favorite thing in the world is just to, as a matter of fact, yeah, you can kind of see it there on the cover. Her favorite thing in the world is just to sit and soak in a nice hot warm bubble bath. So and then immediately Alfred is infatuated with Sarah, and he's just he kind of just starts focusing on her rather than hunting vampires. Whereas Abrontius he's very single minded. He wants to find out where this castle is, and he wants to go and stop the vampires. And then like weird happenings are going on. I don't want to give too much away of the movie if you haven't seen it, but like for example, there's this kind of weird, gross hunchback kind of guy with really bad teeth, and at one point, Alfred, like in the morning, he's outside, he's building a snowman, and he's like, he sees that Sarah's looking out the window, so he's kind of trying to impress her and everything, and then he notices this weird guy come up, and he notices Sarah's like trying to hide away from him and all this, and so he's all okay. Something weird is going on. So he goes inside, and Bronces tells him, "Follow this guy. There's something weird about this guy." And so he's following him, and then at one point he notices that the guy stops. He's heading back towards the castle, but Alfred doesn't find this out. But he stops and he sees a wolf, and he goes and he like tracks the wolf down, and basically, bites into the wolf. And he comes back. He's like, wiping blood and gore away from his face and stuff. Well, later that night, Sarah comes in. She asks Alfred if she can use their bathroom so she can take a bath, and then so she goes in to take the bath, where she is attacked by the Count. His name Count von Krolak, and he attacks Sarah. He takes her away, and so Chagall, he's upset. He's horrified that the master, as he calls him, his excellency. I'm sorry, his excellency took his daughter, and so he goes out to look for to go to the castle so he can try to get his daughter back. Well, the next day, they find Chagall out frozen in the snow. They bring him in, and then Abrontius notices that he's got bite marks in his neck and knows that he's been bit by a vampire. He's trying to convince everybody, even though everybody's just trying to ignore him at this point. And so he and Alfred decide that they're going to wait for him to turn into a vampire, which he does. And then they start chasing him around. They're trying to catch him so they can drive the stake through his heart. And eventually they follow him out in the snow, and they find the castle of the Count von Krolak. And so they get there and they meet him, and then he gives them a room to stay in to sleep through the day. And then when they wake up, it turns out that the Count actually also too has a son who takes a romantic attraction to Alfred. So I imagine this movie is kind of groundbreaking for its time, especially in 1966. But I'll get to that in a minute. So then basically the rest of the movie becomes Alfred and Abrontius trying to find Sarah, defeat the vampires, save the world, get away, save the day, kind of a thing. I think that's pretty much about as much of the movie as I want to give away. Like I said, um, yeah, Polanski, not the best guy in the world, really not. But as a person, yeah, not a particularly fond of him as a person, but I do have to admit, as a storyteller, he does make good movies. You know, and another thing too is I seem to remember a while back when the Ninth Gate came out, I heard something about he. That might have just been a rumor, but I think I heard something about he tried to like pinch money from the DVD sales or something like that. He wasn't supposed to do that. I don't know. Like I said, just he's not a good person. Okay. And the funny thing is I remember last year when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood came out, and everybody, oh, Roman Polanski's not happy with the way Quentin Tarantino portrayed him in the movie and all this stuff. It's like, considering what Roman Polanski does anybody really give a shit if he's not happy with the way he's portrayed in Tarantino's film? I don't know. But anyway, though, yeah, this is a good movie. It's more of a horror comedy. As a matter of fact, the subtitle for the movie is also it's called The Fearless Vampire Killers, or Pardon Me, but Your Teeth Are in My Neck. So the movie clearly lets you know it is a comedy, a horror comedy. Not particularly scary at all, more funny. But I think this movie was, it's more of kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? It's more of like an oddity now. It's more of like it's more just like a curiosity kind of a film. The main reason, the couple of main reasons being is like, this movie I think was kind of a little ahead of its time in 1966, especially when you have, a male vampire character who is basically homosexual and tries to get this, and the count does, played by Ferdy Mayne, the count does say that your apprentice would make a wonderful companion for my son. And I imagine probably in 1966, yeah, that sort of thing was pretty risque, very taboo at the time. So you got that. But I think the main reason why this movie would be such a more curiosity for people is that if you know anything about the history of Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate, this is the movie that the two of them met and they fell in love when they were making this movie. And it was only 3 short years later that unfortunately Sharon Tate, while she was married to Roman Polanski and pregnant with their child, she was murdered by the Manson family. Horrible thing, very horrible. But I think it would, like I said, it would, a lot of people would be curious to see this movie because this is the movie where Roman and Sharon met and fell in love, and then they would eventually get married, and history would happen. So I think that's probably a lot of the appeal of what this movie would still have. It's not a bad film. The acting is fun. Jack McGowran is really a scene stealer. He's a lot of fun to watch. Um, Sharon Tate, very beautiful in the movie, very gorgeous. Unfortunately, you probably watch some of her other movies that she's done, like The Wrecking Crew or Valley of the Dolls or something. She's done other movies where she's given more to do. As much as I hate to say, in this movie, kind of like her character, she doesn't get a lot to do. She's just there to kind of be this beautiful kind of damsel in distress that they need to try to save her. That's kind of really all. That's really about all her character gets. But there's a lot of good jokes in here. If you like horror comedies, you're going to love this. If you don't like horror comedies, yeah, you might want to avoid this one. But this film, it's a lot of fun to watch. But like I said, just it's a case of if you don't like Polanski and you're going to boycott his films and everything else, okay, then yeah, I would say don't watch it. But if you are interested in checking out this movie, if only for, like I said, the reasons being, like I said, the whole idea of seeing the movie where Sharon Tate and Roman Polanski met and fell in love, then yeah, I could suggest maybe watching this. But other than that, yeah, for a movie from 1966. So yeah, you're not getting a lot of gore. There's a little bit of, pretty much about the goriest part in the movie is where the hunchback assistant to the Count Vampire, or Count Kralok, just goes and kills the wolf. It's done off screen, but he comes back, he's got the wiping the gore from his mouth. That's about as gory as it gets. So I would say curiosity's sake, I say go ahead and check it out. I mean, if you're into this. But like I said, though, if you're the kind of person like you don't like Polanski as a person and you don't really want to endorse his movies, then I would say, yeah, pretty much avoid it. But Anyway, that's pretty much about all I can say about it. It's a fun movie, and I guess if it makes you feel just a little bit better, I guess you could say, well, you know what, like the whole mess that he got himself in trouble in, this was years before that ever happened. So I don't know. Maybe you could try to like make yourself feel better by saying that to yourself. But anyway, that's pretty much about all I can say about it. So yeah. Um, if anybody took the time to watch this video, I thank you for doing it. I appreciate you for doing it. I honestly hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the Body Bags channel. We have a different reviewer for every day of the week. I'm the Friday reviewer. We have great guys. Everybody's all doing great stuff. A lot of fun videos. And yeah, more theme weeks, label weeks, all kinds of good stuff. So that's it. So everybody, take care. Have a good night. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye.